going on, beautiful people? It's your boy here, Wesley from A Connection TV here on YouTube and watchactv.com, which is my own online streaming network. I work with a bunch of creatives and we give you guys content on there. We have an app, a mobile app, so if you are so dope and want to support, go download that app, check it out. I wanted to do this video. First off, let me say thank you to all of the comments that I got for the Mona Simone video. Mona Simone is back, and Mona Simone will be doing more videos to cover Baddies ATL. A couple of interviews are coming. If the ladies hold up, what they said that they are going to do. I got a couple of ladies that are down to do interviews. So thank you and shout out to everybody for the positive comments regarding Mona Simone. If you guys want to see those full videos, go to watchactv.com. I wanted to talk about Jupiter's Legacy. And I normally don't do reviews of shows. Well, I do reviews of shows, but never really of like scripted shows. Because I watch a lot, but I just don't make the time to do the videos. But for some reason, I feel compelled to do Jupiter's Legacy. I watched Grace. Grace Grandoff, I believe is her name. Grace. And usually we vibe and are on the same page with regards to our feelings about film. And I usually am able to, trust what she says, and we see here. But Jupiter's Legacy, she was going on and on and on about how it was so fantastic and a phenomenal show and all of that. And I was geeked because I'm a superhero fanatic. I love all of MCU. Hey, I love all of the MCU, Marvel all day. DC needs to catch up. Some of the DC films are cool, but I love DC animation. I watch anime, all types of stuff. I'm loving of the powers and the superheroes and the supervillains. So I was geeked to watch Jupiter's Legacy, and I have to say, from the first episode, because she was like, oh, it's a slow burn. When you get through to the end of the first episode, you're gonna be hooked. And so I was watching the first episode and I was bored out of my mind. Immediately when the episode came on, I felt like there was a lack of diversity and a lack of me giving a care about what was happening here. There was nothing about it that was really bringing me into the storyline to care to get to the ending where Grace was like, oh my God, get to the ending and then you'll love it. The main guy that this show is about, the son, Brandon Andrew Horton, I was like, huh? I was like, what is this storyline about? And then Elena Camporis, I like her performance as Chloe, but I was like, is she really going through a meltdown because her father, I didn't feel connected to their storylines. It didn't feel like what they were going through with their family warranted their responses. It was unbelievable to me. And I'm like, y'all have it all, and she is over here. Like, I couldn't connect. So that was my problem. And then Grace was right with regards to it being a slow burn. But I was like, what is the point? Like, where are we going with this? Yes, it was the first episode, and we get to the ending, and I'm just like, he's gonna do this. And he did it, and I was like, okay. I'll watch the rest of the season because Grace said that I should. I decided to watch the entire season. It took 8 episodes. What is it? It took 8 episodes for me to get to how the powers came to be. No spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything. But it took 8 episodes for me to get to how they got the powers. Then when we get to how they got the powers, it took 8 episodes for me to kind of be concerned with this code that this dude dredged up out of nowhere. I was like, why is this code so important? I can't understand. Why is this code so important? And then when we find out why it's so important, I'm like, huh? I'm like, wait, what? So you were willing to potentially let some people that you apparently care about die, all for some code that you dredged up because It took 8 episodes for us to get to a finale that was so underwhelming. It was so underwhelming. I don't know. I really don't understand why. I mean, I'm not the only one, because Rotten Tomatoes, first off, Rotten Tomatoes gave this a 39%, okay? Second off, IMDb gave this a 6.9 out of 10, okay? Clearly, I'm not the only ones that feels some sort of way about this entire series. I feel like they dropped the ball. Okay, so this is what I'll do, because I know I get scatterbrained and I'm not as together as Grace is, or as some other reviewers are of film and scripted content. But this is what I'll do. I'll give my highlights, and I'll give my pros and my cons, okay? Pro number 1, special effects are pretty decent. That is a pro. The special effects are pretty decent. Pro number 2, cinematography is grade A quality. Grade A cinematography. I loved it. So the special effects are cool. The cinematography are cool. Okay, pro, the acting. The acting is pretty good. Yes, the acting is pretty good. So I have to give it to visual effects, cinematography, and the acting. Now let's get into the cons of this series. The cons of this series. The story is not compelling enough. The story is so surface level that it is absolutely ridiculous. Okay? It borrows heavily from, of course, it borrows heavily, and I don't read the comics, so I don't really give a damn about the comics. It borrows heavily from the mundane premise of superheroes and their laws and how they're supposed to save the world, but it doesn't get any thicker than that. There's nothing heavier than that. It's so surface level, okay? So the storyline is trash. Elena Camporis, Chloe, storyline trash. She does a great job acting wise. Storyline trash. Andrew Horton, his storyline trash. It takes us 8 episodes to get to how they got the freaking powers. It's a waste. A waste. Complete waste. Okay? And so when I go and I look at the people involved in writing this, there are only 2 black people involved in helping writing this process. And not to be all about race, but there's no diversity in this entire production. None. And even watching it, I felt that. I was like, wow, what is this feeling? You know, and I don't normally get that with a lot of stuff, you know? But I just immediately felt that there was a huge lack of diversity with this whole entire production, cast and crew. Mind you, the 2 black people in it are, one is handicapped and the other one's getting her ass beat. Well, to be fair, everybody got their ass beat in this. But there are only 2 black people in this. 2, just 2. What? It's 2021. Okay, and I don't care if you're like, well, Wes in the comics, da da da. I don't care. People are race bending left or right. If you're gonna bring this great production to the forefront, diversify the hell out of this motherfucker. Because it was just I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't. I felt it. It was a visceral feeling. I felt it. Who is this? Okay, that's my. There's 3 black people. Mike Wade is a black person too. My bad. Ian Quinlan. I don't know what he is. He's gorgeous. He's beautiful. Great job. I loved his character in there. But the lack of diversity was just huge for me. So con number 1. Story trash. Okay? Trash. I don't care about the problems that these people are going through because it's just so minuscule. The acting tries to sell me on caring, but I just don't care. It's just so minuscule. What are we talking about here? Con number 2, the lack of diversity. This is the first time I felt like there was no diverse production behind this. And it's been a while, but this is the first time I felt like, wow, they literally have none of the producers except for the two writers that had, and their producing credits aren't even big. None of the producers, none of the people, the big wigs, are of diverse ethnic background. None of them. I felt it. So the story was trash. Con number 2, no diversity. You know what? I honestly can't think of any more cons. Maybe I just need to sit down and write this stuff out next time I do something like this. We'll see if I ever do something like this ever again. But there are 3 pros and 2 cons, but the 2 cons are so heavy. Because if I'm not invested in the story, I'm just not going to care about anything that's happening on the screen. And if I'm only watching it because the actors are good in their acting, but the story sucks, there's no point. And then the fact that the lack of diversity is just so, it's a bother to me. It's problematic. It's problematic. And I couldn't get into it. I really couldn't. This is the first time Grace has been wrong for me. I didn't connect the way she thought it was so good and da-da-da. You know, it was going back and forth through time loops. And I was interested in the past time because I wanted to see them get to the island. But then everything that was happening, actually the past was the most interesting part because everything that was happening in the present was just horrible. There were so many different storylines interwoven into each other, and I was like, and then they were looping the past, looping the future, looping the present, explain something from the, I was just like, we're doing too much. And I'm not caring still. I'm still not caring about none of what's happening on my screen. I don't care. I don't care. I don't know. I can understand why I got a 39%. I was completely let down by Jupiter's Legacy. And again, I usually connect with Grace on how she feels about things, but this was trash. I would give this, what if I had a rating system, I would give, this sucks. The show sucks. So it's either gonna suck or I'm gonna suggest that you watch it. This shit sucked. It sucked, asshole. That's what it did, okay?